Меня зовут Niyaz Sundetaliev.
My name is Niyaz Sundetaliev.
В 23 года я
It
стал...
just so happened that at the age of 23, I turned out to be an almost paralyzed person. Perhaps this turning point in my life played a leading role in influencing my present condition.
Помогающую роль сегодняшнего моего состояния.
It changed not only my world outlook and disposition, but also changed me and people around me.
Он изменил и меня, и окружающих. Наверное, это и есть.
Probably this is the present me.
Здоровье терять всегда тяжело.
It's always hard when your health deteriorates, but unfortunately there are factors we can't change.
До травмы у меня была хорошая работа.
I had a good job before I got injured.
Получил высшее образование. Буквально постригся на лысо.
I had graduated, literally shaved my head and had been preparing to go into the army.
Был разряд по парашютному спорту.
I had been a certified skydiver.
Друзья, знакомые подруги.
I had been to a few countries, had had friends and acquaintances, and a strong desire to develop my skills.
Но
However, a fatal occurrence changed my life completely and did change me.
который полностью изменил меня. Это падение с 4-го этажа, когда я
I leaned on a window in a wrong way and fell from the 4th floor under the weight of my body.
под тяжестью собственного веса. И при падении
When falling, I broke my 6th vertebra, which unfortunately led to the condition I'm in now.
который привел меня, к сожалению, к такому состоянию. Я задавал себе очень
I
часто
often
вопрос,
asked myself why it had happened to me, what I had done wrong in my life,
где же я так оступился в жизни, и что же я
what
сделал
mistake I had
такого,
made to deserve this
чтобы
illness.
действительно
Unfortunately, I still
достиг
can't
этого
find the answer to this question.
болезни. И я, к сожалению, до сих пор не могу найти ответ. Очень страшное было пробуждение,
Awakening was really frightful.
когда ты в реанимации.
The worst moment was when I woke up in an intensive care unit and couldn't understand where I was and what I was.
Момент тяжелый был, когда я задумался о том, что я не дышу.
I realized that I couldn't breathe myself, but there was a machine that pushed air into me
Я лежу,
while I was lying with my eyes open looking around and hearing the hum of the machine.
жужжание аппаратуры. И в
At
этот
that
момент
moment,
я
I wanted to resist a little, so when the air was pushed into me, I started to push it out.
И когда он в меня вгонял воздух, я начал, наоборот, его выгонять.
As a result of it, the alarm signal was sent and nurses hurried to me.
Бежали медсестры, и все были
Everyone was astonished.
сильно. Но меня не выписывали очень долго.
It took a lot until I was discharged from the hospital.
И постоянно в реанимации менялись люди. Кто-то умирал на
I
глазах,
closed my eyes at dusk.
кого-то переводили в палату.
People in intensive care unit always came and went. Somebody died in front of my eyes.
Все вернется.
Somebody was moved to a ward while I was lying wondering when it all would be over, when I would be able to get up and run, when everything would be back. Doctors did their rounds daily, touched my legs, toes, and asked what I felt. I realized I felt nothing. I understood that although I was healthy, mentally healthy, and my morale was good, I was physically unfit and helpless. I was vulnerable and wasn't the independent Niyaz who could take responsibility for his actions any longer. I think it was the hardest to accept this fact. However, the most difficult period was when I was discharged from hospital and had to deal with my problem on my own. Only my close relatives were by my side.
которых становилось все меньше и меньше.
Of course, I had friends, but their number kept decreasing. If before I got injured, I regarded them almost as brothers, after the accident I realized that they visited me less and less and that my life wasn't a real life, but rather existence.
Около 3 лет, чтобы
Actually, it took me about 3 years to understand that I had to live not only for somebody's sake.
ради кого-то
Of course, my brothers were worried and cared for me.
переживали,
You should live,
нужно жить.
first of all, for yourself and prove yourself that you'll be able to cope with the illness.
Ты можешь справиться с этой болезнью. И да, пусть так произошло.
Yes, the bad happened. but probably the last thing a person can say is, I died.
Самое последнее, что человек может сказать, это «я умер». А пока ты
While you remain sensible, reasonable, and can express your thoughts, in my opinion, you are alive and fully fledged.
считаешь, ты живой,
Of course, you may not be able to do some things, but regardless of it, you remain human.
На сегодняшний день я являюсь
Now I am a member of Central Council of Zhas Otan Youth Branch under the Nur Otan party.
Должность
This position is unpaid, but it gives an opportunity to solve youth's
дает
problems.
возможность решать проблемы молодежи.
Actually, when I was working on my program explaining why I wanted to be a member of the Central Council
Членом Центрального совета
of the largest youth organization in the country, I said that there were people with disabilities among us,
среди нас есть люди с инвалидностью, которые являются молодыми людьми.
and they were young.
И мы
I
должны
emphasized that we had to propose plans aimed to such people because they were often the same as us.
таких же людей, потому что они зачастую ничем не отличаются от нас. Они талантливы, они
They were talented, sporty, more successful and motivated.
более результативны, более мотивированы. И
Probably they were considering the candidates and realized that they really needed a person like me.
да, действительно им нужен такой человек, как я. У молодежи всегда одни и те же проблемы.
Young people always have the same problems.
Семья, отсутствие работы
which are a lack of accommodation, joblessness, and lack of access to education.
для людей, которые, маломобильны, грубо говоря. Есть определенные проблемы с
Roughly speaking, people who can't move properly have certain problems with self-fulfillment.
чуть-чуть помочь, направить и подтолкнуть.
And if they are provided with a little help, directed and urged on, these young people will literally flourish before your
в
eyes.
глазах. Вы знаете, кто-то должен говорить о проблемах, кто-то должен заниматься их решением.
You know, someone should talk about problems and someone should solve them.
Что-либо
As for
делаю,
me, when I do something and eventually fulfill my aim, I feel morally satisfied. I feel healthy again. I feel I'm the Niyaz who can do something and does it.
может что-то сделать и делает. Поэтому
Today, the
сегодня,
society keeps silent about certain problems and is afraid of talking about them.
общество боится говорить их. А если оно их
If it
говорит,
talks about them,
говорит их
it does it in an unhelpful way and focuses mainly on emotions.
то решение проблемы,
Solving a problem must be constructive.
если ты что-то критикуешь, если тебе что-то не нравится, ты с чем-то не согласен и недоволен,
If you criticize something, unsatisfied with something, or disagree with something,
или решение.
please offer an alternative viewpoint or solution, and I think the opinion you hold will certainly be good.
Я думаю.
I'm positive about it.
В феврале этого года я стал членом
This February, I became a member of Karaganda Public Council. Last year, I opened a public association and was selected chairman of Comcore Plus Public Association of Disabled People. We have a kind of legislative power there. We announce initiatives and look at problems. We must live better and be happier. I'm confident about it and sure we will achieve this aim.
Niyaz тот человек, который не любит, когда его
Niyaz is a person who wants to achieve everything on his own,
сам
earn money and be independent.
и быть самостоятельным. Вот,
He's a very strong person.
Niyaz считаю самым лучшим.
I consider Niyaz my best friend and the second strongest person after my parents.
Niyaz тот человек,
Niyaz is a person who disabused me of various ideas.
многие вещи. После
A year after I met Niyaz, I had dreams come true phrase in English tattooed on me.
сделал татуировку Dreams Come True. С английского переводится как «мечты сбываются».
Я боюсь, что
I fear that I'll wake up one day and won't be able to express my thoughts
не
clearly,
смогу излагать четко свои мысли, не смогу думать,
won't be able to
не смогу
think,
анализировать, не смогу вспомнить.
analyze, or recall everything I know. I'm afraid of this. I believe that destiny guides us towards certain people who later become our close friends, mentors, or just acquaintances we are in good relationship with. Together with them, you do such unbelievably great things that it seems foolish to me to say that there is nothing above us.
Мне кажется, это глупо. Проекты, да, проекты, встречи, поездки.
Projects. Yes, projects. Meetings and trips are very exhausting.
И после этого нужно восстанавливаться. И морально.
After them, you need to recuperate, and it's very difficult to morally recuperate as well as physically. However, I think that this daily routine leaves you with the feeling
Того, что ты нужен.
that other people in society need you too, which is why it's good.
Поэтому это хорошо. На мой взгляд, самодостаточность заключается
In my opinion, self-sufficiency includes a few things. The first one is freedom of movement, freedom of thought and expression, and probably your social circle.
и, наверное, тот круг общения, который тебя окружает.
Ability to feel sympathy makes us human.
Невероятная история успеха.
It is a remarkable success story when a person who was in a terrible situation managed to achieve a good result.
Смог достигнуть результата. Я гордость испытываю за людей, которые
I feel proud of people who aren't afraid to tell the truth, who aren't embarrassed and have their viewpoint,
стесняются и имеют свою точку зрения,
which is different from the other's opinion.
которые могут пожертвовать своей должностью, могут пожертвовать своими амбициями, своими
These people are willing to sacrifice their position,
какими-то
ambitions, and profitable private interests
жизненными
important to them in order to tell the truth.
интересами личными, корыстными, но сказать правду. Вы знаете, обидеть...
You know, everyone can be offended, and I feel offended by some things too. Actually, such things seem rather hilarious.
Такой серии смешного. Допустим, я сижу возле магазина.
For example, I sit near a shop while my friends are buying water, and when people see me in a wheelchair, they approach and throw money to me.
Подходят люди, которые пытаются как-то тебя обнять.
Some of them come up to me and try to hug and kiss me, putting money into my pocket, although I don't ask anyone to do it.
Не просишь об этом. И когда я еду на коляске,
When I use a wheelchair and my friends go with me, we see young parents with their children
и тут молодые родители с детьми, и дети
who look at me and ask,
говорят, а почему дядя?
"Why is the man in a wheelchair?"
И
Their
родители не
parents
знают,
don't know how to answer their question.
И, наверное, вот это вот непонимание
Probably the misunderstanding and confusion can offend you a little.
обижает.
I can't say it does deeply. It just confirms that the society hasn't matured yet.
Говорит о том, что общество еще пока
The longer
не
we stay home keeping silence, the longer it will last.
больше мы будем сидеть дома, и чем
It's
больше
the reason why we should talk about it and show it.
продолжаться. Поэтому мы должны говорить об этом. Мы должны
We should walk and live a full life.
гулять, жить полноценной жизнью, ходить в
Go to
кафе,
cafes, clubs, discos, cinemas and theaters. Why not?
Почему нет? Я часто себе задавал вопрос, если
I often ask myself, if this accident, this tragedy hadn't happened to me, would I do what I'm doing now?
я тем, чем я занимаюсь сейчас,
I can't answer this question straightforwardly. However, I can say that I had completely different plans. First, I planned to go into the army. Then I was going to practice my profession working for the state local government, since I had higher education. I wanted to be an official. Would I help people as an official? To tell the truth, I don't know.
Честно.